Hello and welcome back to the channel. We are back with another, hopefully a quick video on the modifications that we want to do on my wife's sleeper sedan. Now the reason I call this a sleeper sedan is that for all intents and purposes and at face value, when you look at it, it looks like your ordinary B8.5 Audi A4. That's probably the one badge that sort of gives it up. Nothing on the wheels, although these rims sort of give it up as well, as these 18-inch rims come standard only on this model, but obviously with rims you can just replace them by the bigger ones if you want, so that really doesn't say much. The only badging that actually gives up what this car really is this one here at the back. This is your 3.0 TDi Quattro model. Now it's got exactly the same engine that you find in the Audi Q7. This model comes with the V6 TDI. Now this pushes 180 kilowatts of power with 500 Newton meters. Now the speed from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is rated at 5.7 seconds. Now that's pretty fast. That's actually as fast as the same year model VW Golf GTI, and when you step on it, it actually does move. Maybe before we get onto the modifications, probably the biggest giveaway as to what this vehicle is, like I mentioned, the badging, but this can obviously be removed if you didn't want it. The one thing which you probably couldn't remove, or it would be much more difficult to do so, are these exhaust tips. Now this model, and only this model, comes with two exhaust tips, one on either side like that. That is probably the biggest giveaway as to what this vehicle is. So all the modifications that we'll be doing today are all internal and aimed at the driver for his or her pleasure. If you look at this steering wheel, pretty standard. Doesn't really say much about what the car can do. Same thing with the gear knob. So what we went out and did is got a nice flat bottom steering wheel that looks much sportier. We didn't want to put any extreme badging, so we just put the S badge over there. And what we also did with that, if you look here, the pedal shifters look pretty standard, so we went and got these nice sporty aluminum ones to go on together with the new steering wheel. What we also did is we got this nice sporty gear knob. Now I like how this gear knob feels. It's pretty weighty, feels nice and premium, and also we didn't want any extreme badging, so we just put an S-tronic badge so that it sort of matches the S badge right here on the steering wheel. On that one, to be quite honest, I'm a bit afraid to do that one, so I might not actually do that today on the same day that I do the steering wheel. We'll see how the day progresses. So replacing the steering wheel is pretty straightforward. If you look at, maybe let's use the new one, you'll see there's these two, it looks like a C holes in there, and that's another C facing backwards. That's where the airbag clips onto. So they get in here and they clip on and hook on at the back on either side. So what we need to do to remove the steering wheel, we need to turn it so that this clip or this hole is here on top. So we need to turn it. Maybe let's just do that. We start the vehicle, so we need to turn the steering wheel that way. Sorry about that. We need to actually turn the steering wheel. Heard about a trick to stop that beeping from Jared, my man. If you press that up, press it down, and that beeping stops. So if you want to be sitting in the car and you don't want to be annoyed by that noise, that's how you actually stop it. Just press on this button up and down and the beeping stops. So you turn the steering wheel up, and then I can already feel the hole here at the back, and then you'll turn it the other way and I can already feel the other hole here at the back. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver to remove those. I also do have this prying tool which I will use if that doesn't work out. So I think let's get going and get this done.
One hour later.
Let's take a moment to appreciate that removing a steering wheel is not easy. Not the steering wheel, but the airbag. Boy, is it not easy. We'll be back. Alright, so we are back. Now that we've gotten the airbag out, we just need to wiggle it out gently, because there is that connector. I think it's to the clock wheel it's called, I could be wrong, but we need to get that out. Now apparently the best way to do is to use, I've gone and gotten one of my pry tools. Let's see if I can get that into focus there. So we need to pull on that green part, on that green lever. So I need to just gonna try and pull on it gently. What I'm gonna do is put the camera away so that I can use both my hands, because I definitely do not want to damage anything in here. That I've got on my forehead will capture this, hopefully. So I'm just gonna pull on this, there you go, while jamming it or pushing back with my thumb, and then we just need to wiggle it out gently, trying our best not to damage anything, trying our utmost best not to damage anything, because boy, that would be an expensive fail. Okay, there you go, and then you can take this out. Alright, so once you've disconnected your airbag, this was the last connector that you just need to pull out. Let's use a little bit of force, not too much. Once you've got that out, you'll need your M12 spline tool. It might be called a different name in different places, but this side of the continent we call it a spline tool. You need your M12 that goes in there, and obviously your wrench to take it out, which I will do off camera because it might need a bit of force to it. Okay, so I've gotten that loose with the tool, then you just twist it, get it right out. Right, so put that aside for now. So now all we need to do is just wiggle the steering wheel out, and wiggle, and there you go. Actually, you don't even need to wiggle it all that much, and that is your OEM steering wheel. Looks pretty identical to the other one, but let's put them side by side for the camera. The back, yeah, they look pretty identical. Yep, happy with that. Okay, all right, the next part of this adventure is to get this trim part off so that you can get the buttons off to obviously put them in the new steering wheel. We need to get also the screw. There's a screw in here, each one on each side, that holds in place the pedal shifters. So we need to get those out so that we can put them obviously on the new pedal shifters on the new steering wheel. From what I've seen online, I know this comes up. You might need to apply a bit of pressure on it. So just pull that up and it comes off the foam part. You can see there. Just push it back. Okay, I won't push it back down, but just lift it up, and you just need to work your way around and wiggle it down here at the bottom. Since I would need both my hands, I will be doing this off camera. Just don't be afraid to apply a bit of force, but not too much. You just need to feel it as well, see if it is wanting to move. On these bits and sides here, you might need to use a trim tool. So I went and collected my trim tools here. See if I can get that open for you. So I've got this bag with the trim tools. I might need to use one or two of those to help me get the sides where the buttons are off. So yeah, just work your way around it systematically and see if this comes out. So this has taken me the better part of the last 20 to 30 minutes to try and get this out, and it eventually came out. I thought this would be the last bit to come out, but it wasn't. It actually was one of the first bits to come out. As long as you can be able to take out this trim piece, which comes off very easily just using the pry tools or the trimming tools, comes out very easily, and then it ends up giving you the space to have leverage to use your fingers to pull this out, because all this has is just these pins here on either side, and these are actually embedded in the foam. This bit here is foam, so they're embedded in the foam, so they do need a bit of pressure to pry them out, to pull them out. So that helped. Now we just need to turn this around very gently, because the connectors for the pedal shifters are still connected. Once you turn them around, there's this little clip here that you need to press on and pull this out. Please be very careful. You don't want to be making mistakes here, because I'm sure those would be very costly. So I'm gonna try and see if I can do this here with one hand. Okay, looks like this is turning around. Let's see if I can. There you go. Okay, so they come out fairly easily. See if I can get a closer view, close up on this. Just press here on the side and pull it out. Those come out very easily, and then we have our buttons. Now I need to figure out how to get these buttons off so that you can get them off from here, put them in our new steering wheel. I'll be back once I figure that out and show you guys how to get it done. So getting the buttons out is fairly straightforward. You will notice that there's 3 gray tapes or areas that have been taped over. One, two, actually four. Two at the top and then the other two at the bottom. All you need to do is press on each. If you press on each from the bottom, it helps if you press on two sides at the time, bottom and top, and then you just push this out. It comes out on the front side here, so it's going to come out on the front side here. So just push it from the back. I'm gonna have to do it off camera again because I need to use both hands. Try and push two at a time, one at the bottom, one at the top. Same thing with the other side, and this should come out. But what you will need to do is just disconnect this cable, as otherwise you'll have a loop going from one hole to the other of the buttons. So you'll need to disconnect this one cable here. And there you have it, your buttons are out. I'm just gonna put those aside, and this trim piece is now off. We'll put that aside as well. What we need to do now is get our screwdriver. It looks like a Torx. I think this might be a T. Just hang on. Let's try a T20. Yay! So this is a T20. Just get those out to get the pedal shifter. So we don't actually want to remove the pedal shifters, but what we do want to do is get the screws so that we can use them on the new steering wheel. Let's get that done. The screws are off. They're right here as well as over there. So now we are done with the old steering wheel. We're gonna put that away and then bring on the new steering wheel. Now we're going to do this whole thing in reverse, but first I need to take off this trim piece so that I can then install the pedal shifters here, and then install the buttons on the trim piece, and then put the trim piece back in place. Off camera again because unfortunately I need both hands. Okay, so the left pedal shifter is in. Fairly straightforward. You must start with the wire, so put the wire in first at the back and then try and wiggle in this sliding part so it comes in and then slides in place, and then just wiggle the rest of the back part of the shifter in. So using the right one to sort of try and show you how to get this done. If I can get this to focus. Let's see. Start there, put the cable through. Okay, put the cable through. Looks like it's upside down. Just turn it the right way around. And once it is through, you start with this hook part at the bottom, that one there. Try and start with that in. Just be careful not to squeeze the wires, so try and push that in so that it comes in so it comes in here, it comes out here, and then slides into place here, and then we'll put in the screws there. I'll come back when it's time to put in the screws. And they're both in. Time for the screws. One in there, the other one in there. Screws are in. Time to fit the buttons into the trim piece. Buttons, trim, and then trim back in place. So I've done a few things off camera to save some time. I installed the buttons on either side, and then I connected the pedal shifter cables onto the whole assembly. Now we just need to flip it over and reinstall the trim piece. After that, we put the steering back in place and reassemble everything. Okay, so this seems to have turned out quite nicely. Just remember to test, make sure everything still clicks, makes the sound that you're expecting it to make. Any feedback that you're expecting from it, make sure you're still getting. And obviously I've just put that connector in place just for show. I still need to connect it to the airbag. So now what we need to do is put our steering back in place gently, and easy does it. Please be very gentle with this part here. There you go. Trying to make sure that everything is nice and straight. So everything seems to be back in place. The two pins are connected, are coming through in the right place. The cable connector, everything seems to be in its right place. So now what we need to do is put back in place the bolt or nut. I'm not sure what this is. I'll just put it back in place and tighten it. Okay, steering is in place. Let's move back a little bit. Steering is in place, looking not too bad at all. Still getting the right feedback from the buttons. Obviously I can't switch it on now because the battery is off or is disconnected. So it's very important to try and be very careful. Make sure you connect everything the right way around, because you don't want to put everything back only to disconnect and go through this process all over again. So now the airbag is right here. I've given it a bit of a wipe down where there was dust internally. You can do it as well if you want. So we're going to connect everything back in reverse, starting with this cable, which connects obviously to the buttons and the pedal shifters, and then we connect this main wiring loom. Sorry, pointing at the wrong stuff. Connect this cable and then connect this main wiring loom, push it forward, push on this screen forward to lock it in place, and then we push the steering wheel in so that it clips on these two parts over there. These two, these two, and we should be done. We'll do the final test thereafter. The steering is back in, so now what I'm gonna do is tidy up, connect the battery, and we'll come back on to fire this baby up and discover together whether we did a good job or not. Okay, so everything is tidied up. Just as a safety precaution, I always just do a quick walk around the vehicle to make sure I haven't left any tools or there's no chokes if I was working on the wheels before I actually start the vehicle and get it moving. From what I can see so far, everything looks good, but not as good as this baby. Just look at that. Because of the angle of the sun, might not be so clear from the front, so I'm gonna go around to the back. Doesn't she just look beautiful? The only thing now that's disappointing is that gear knob. There's this one which I still need to sort out and figure out how or when exactly I'm going to do it, but it's a story for another day. As for this baby, she looks absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so let's get in. Gonna move the seat all the way as far back as possible, and then moment of truth, stepping on the brake and then fire the key. Hey, looks like we're in business. Any warning lights? Nothing whatsoever. The steering wheel turning. Inside it is. Let's check outside. This thing is gonna switch off as a safety precaution. Maybe not. Hey, will you look at that? The wheel, well, the right one turned. Surely the left one too. Yes. Okay. This is exciting. Let's turn it all the way to the left now. And it turns. So it looks like we are in business. So let's take her for a quick test drive and let's see how she performs. Oh, it's gonna go in here. Just gonna adjust where I normally sit. Okay, so test driving this baby. She seems to be driving just fine. Let's test the pedal shifters. Yep, everything's working just fine. The only thing now I'll have to test, let's see if we can do it here, is just testing the steering wheel buttons. Let's switch the radio on. Yep. Volume's going up and down. Yep. So we can safely say that was a success. I'm gonna put this phone away now so that I can drive safely. Thank you for tuning in. If you found any value in this video, please give us a like. If you like this type of content, please do subscribe, as we plan to put out more videos like this. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new videos. If there's anything you feel we could have done better or any ideas of what we can do in the future, please do leave us a comment, and by all means feel free to share the video. Thank you, and catch you on the next one. My wife eventually took the car for a nice wash, so now it looks much better than it did earlier on when we were fitting the new steering wheel. And now you can see it in all its glory. And there she is, looking better than I actually expected. And she drives and handles great as well. So there you have it.